Oh, hey. Wasn't expecting you to find me so soon. Well, congratulations, you've done it. You found the Champ Dog. Thanks for tuning in, guys. So today, if you can't tell from the shirt, we're going to be playing some Prismari Dragons. Season has reset. We are going to jump into some ranked and rebuild our rank a little bit. And it's been one of my favourite decks this season. It seems to do okay against aggro, and it's also got a pretty good game against Snalltail Ultimatum, which is the best sort of control deck in the format. So hopefully it's a well-positioned deck to help me rank up. But I guess we'll see. But I guess before that, do you ever wish there was just like something you could do like first thing in the morning that would just make your day just so much better in like heaps of small, subtle, barely undetectable ways, but when you put them together are so much greater than the sum of their parts and just help guarantee you're going to have a fantastic day. Well, the good news for you is there is. It's the synchronized sip. Grab yourself a coffee. Let's jump in. I'll be honest, it's a little bit better than I was expecting. I had an issue with my grinder, so I use a Time More hand grinder at home. And there's this little screw up the top that holds the grinding mechanism in place. And I didn't realize that it had been getting like slowly loose over time. And so the whole thing sort of fell apart, which is a good opportunity to like clean it and figure out how to put it back together. But then like obviously putting back together, I screwed it in like kind of tight. And because that screw was getting loose, the two sides of the blades were getting further and further apart. So it was grinding coarser than it should have on the setting that it was on. So me screwing it back together has pushed those blades back in so that they're sitting the way that they should, which means that it's been grinding a lot finer. So it's taken me a little while to try and dial it back in. To be easier in a like sort of commercial setting where I could just like do it, throw it away. But I'm running pretty low on doses of coffee, and I've been doing like a V60 style pour over, so it's not the easiest sort of thing to just like chuck in and start again. It's like each failed coffee is like 5 to 10 minutes of my time. But I got it to a pretty decent place. Like this is definitely drinkable. It's just a little bit over extracted, but hopefully tomorrow's brew will be better. But it's good to learn how the grinder fits together. As I said, I just put it back into its proper alignment, so it just wasn't behaving the way that it was before. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Let's jump into the arena and look at the deck. So this is our deck. It's Prismari Dragons, as promised. So it's a little bit different to how we were playing it previously. I've taken out some of the top ends, so I've taken out some of the Magma Opus and a single Aron's Epiphany to make room for 2 Maze Mind Tomes and a Disdainful Stroke. So the consensus opinion seems to be 3 Aron's Epiphany, no Magma Opus, 3 Maze Mind Tome, and 4 Borrowers. And some lists have Disdainful Stroke over the 4th Frostbite and then the 4th Frostbite in the sideboard. That seems to be sort of the consensus version of the deck. So mine's like a little bit different. Magma Opus probably should be cut. I'll be real. There's almost no situation where it's better than Aron's Epiphany. There's almost no situation where it isn't just too clunky to cast. Even at instant speed, 8 mana's a lot. And by the time you can cast it against a bunch of decks, they can have 2 mana open to counter this, and then when you untap on your turn, they can still have 2 or 3 mana open to counter whatever you wanted to do afterwards. And against like aggro decks, it's kind of overkill, and you'd rather have Epiphany anyway most of the time. So I understand why people aren't running this, but I like it. It's a pet card of mine, so it's in there. Disdainful Stroke, I don't know how I feel about it. It should maybe be a sideboard card. I mean, it has at least some use against most decks, but I just don't know how I feel about it. I might even prefer just a 4th Saw It Coming. But this is what I'm playing around with at the moment. I haven't made any changes from this in the video you're about to see. But those are the main differences from the last time we played this deck. Also, I don't think all decks are playing Shadow Skull Smashing, but I thought I'd just keep it in there because sometimes it's handy. But this is our list. Let's jump into the games and see how we go. Oh, and I also cut 1 Ox of Agonis for 1 Cinderclasm, which is pretty much just a nod to Naya, Toski, Token, Clarion, Spirit, Adventure, Showdown of the Skalds, literally every second good card in the format just shoved together into one deck. You know, the Naya deck. Yeah, so that's the list. Let's jump into some games and see how we go. Okay, I've faced nothing but Yori and Ultimatum decks so far, and I've been doing horribly against them. Will this be the game where we turn it around? I wouldn't normally do that, but since I drew the second one, I just wanted to set him back a turn. So we've got a counter spell held up, or we can just Brazen Burrower on their end step. So much mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they can Ultimatum next turn. Have a counter spell of their own. Play this for blue so we can saw it coming and dispute. That is Vorinclex. I think we bounce that. That resolved pretty cleanly. So do I want to foretell this? Yeah, I think I do. I think it's a foretell situation. Emergent Ultimatum. They bluffed their own mystical dispute there, but we know they don't have it now. Do I want to activate a Haven? I don't think so. I think we just play slow and careful. These sticks don't actually tell our opponent anything because they know we have the Brazen Borrower, which is a flash card. By Yorion. Okay. Do I want to cast Iteration here? Or do I just want to try and kill him? So if I activate a Haven, it taps 1, 2, 3, so I have 3 mana left, which is enough to still hold up Saw It Coming and Mystical Dispute. Eliminate. So I was just trying to get my head around tapping and sequencing there, and then I remembered we already know they don't have the dispute, so it was safe to tap like that there. This hand is trash. I don't love this hand, but it is better. What am I putting back here? I mean, what do I need the snow for? Just Faceless Haven? I don't think that's a top priority. Opponent takes a mull as well. Love to see it. Double tap land. Hate to see it. So next turn we probably just foretell this. What are the chances I want to use this as a removal spell? Well, they have bought Yorion, so greater than 0 chance that I may want that. So we'll give ourselves the possibility. Drawing the Akroan War is pretty nice though. Happy to sit back and do nothing at the moment. Definitely don't need to try and rush this dragon out. That's pretty cool. At this point, I'd rather just hit my land drop. Alright, so I can Magma Opus. Doesn't mean I should though, they could just Mystical Dispute it and follow up with an ultimatum, which would be quite the beating. Sure. Maybe I should have gone for it there. Three counter spells is pretty nice. So, do I go for the dragon here? I would still have two counter spells held up. Opponent only has access to 2 blue mana at the moment. I think we go for it. Negate. So opponent does still have access to a counterspell. Important to remember that. So we're not just going to fire off Epiphany here. No, sorry. Not going to fire off Iteration either. Not much value in it right now. So... Disdainful Strike. I assume they have a counter here. Here it comes. Mystical Dispute. I don't know why I like to always sequence it like this and counter the original spell rather than the counter spell, but that's just how I do. On the play. Yes, please. Up against the letter J. Well, I feel bad about beating up on the alphabet, but there's a lot of counter spells and not much land. It's not Yorion. I feel like this is an aggro deck, and if I stumble on land, I'm going to be in trouble. This is so much worse. So much worse. I want my first hand back. Might as well foretell this. Yes, this is mono green. Lovestruck Beast, sure. Alright. Next game, please. So I'll want my Akroan Wars. And I'll probably want some amount of Fire Prophecy. Take out Mystical Dispute. What else? What else do I cut? It's a toughen. It is a toughen. I don't want to cut too many Borrowers because they do have some creatures that scale, like outscale our removal. Maybe it's just Maze Mind time. Maybe it's that simple. Maybe I'm not meant to bring in the Fire Prophecies because I have the Frostbites. I don't know. Who can know? It's a mystery. Wasn't in the sideboarding guide. That was a joke, guys. This hand seems better. We shall keep. A bit of ramp as well if we want it. Obviously I'd much rather save it, but I don't know how likely it is that we get to 8 mana. Because at the moment we need more red. We could also Fire Prophecy and tuck the Opus if they give us a decent target for it. We'll take the 1 here and find out. These two together can kill a 5/5. But then what am I doing? Cashing this in for a treasure? That doesn't seem like the future. Epiphany. So we'll stomp this pre-combat and hope they don't have protection. And that actually worked out quite well for us. Quite well indeed. Henge, sure. Please don't play a reach creature. Just play a 1/1. Play a 1/1 and attack with your 5/5. Oh no. Oh dear. Do I fire one of these off? I think so. Flood the board. Questing Beast, sure. Well, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Just have all the answers over there. Must be nice. Try and hold this Epiphany till we can get a little more value out of it. Didn't activate the Haven. That's interesting. Wonder what they plan to follow up with here. A couple of reach creatures. It's a little bit unfortunate. Yeah, that won't do it, unfortunately. Oh well, what do you do? Alright, so we're going to wrap up there. It's going to be a pretty short video today, just the 2 games, and they weren't super long. I do have some more games coming up, but I wanted to keep the next 2 games in a video of their own, and they're a little too long to throw in on the end of these games. And yeah, I didn't want to add one of them. I really want to show them back to back because that's going to be a fun little video for some of you at any rate. So we're going to wrap this one up here, keep it a bit of a short one. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you are still watching, please consider hitting the like button, hitting subscribe if you haven't already, and you know, leave us a comment. They all help us out, help get our content out there, and help let me know you care about what I'm doing. Otherwise, guys, I'll catch you in the next video. Stay brilliant.